Greetings, YouTube. The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And it is Dungeons and Dragons 2024 time. We have gotten our copy, digital copy, off of D&D Beyond of the Player's Handbook 2024. And we have a Dungeons and Dragons D&D Beyond account, so we are going to be building classes. Somebody asked me to build a cleric with the 2024 rules. Guess they wanted to see how they would look, so I went ahead and created a very kind of classic healing cleric. The cleric seems to have a little bit more healing. We did go over this in the pre-release notes that they put out. Again, like I said, it has a little bit more healing, but it still feels very much like the 2014 5th edition cleric. I'm not going to get used to saying 2014 versus 2024. We've got the 5e cleric from 2014 and the 5.5, I guess, from the 2024. Still very much the same feel. I noticed that some of the spell descriptions have changed a little bit, but for the most part, it's still the same. All right, we are going to build, I'm going to do a series of videos with these where we're going to build a classic type of character. One thing I have noticed about the new rules for the 2024 rules, or 5.5, whatever you want to call it, one thing I have noticed about these is that they are kind of given incentives for players to stick with that class and not to class dip into other classes. I think class dipping was a thing in 5th edition. I think they're trying to get away from having people do that. So I just built a straight 7th level cleric. It's a healing cleric. So let's go through some of the features that I did on the home. We did the homebrew rules, expanded rules, legacy rules, critical role. I don't really do any of the other stuff. Enabled dice rolling, I don't really care. We did the optional class features and the customize your origin, which I don't think really matters for 2024. So here's the cleric. We just call it the 2024 Healing Cleric. That's what we called it. And so for core cleric traits at 1st level, we gain all the traits in the core traits table. So here they are. Primary ability is wisdom, D8 hit point die per level. Wisdom and charisma are the saving throw proficiencies. Choose 2. So we did that. Simple weapons, light and medium armor, shields. And then you can choose the starting equipment. I chose insight and persuasion because I am going to have a little bit of charisma on this cleric. And insight is a wisdom-based skill, so that's why we chose that. At 1st level, we get the spell casting. So 3 cantrips, spell slots, prepared spells at 1st level. This is basically just the description of how you cast spells. And it talks about a holy focus. And then we get 2 choices for divine order. Really, you only get 1 choice. It's either protector, which is trained for battle. You gain proficiency with martial weapons and training with heavy armor. You have to be careful of that because if you are going to choose plate mail, you need to have a pretty high strength for that or any of the other heavy armors. So I chose Thaumaturge, and we chose Guidance because Guidance is a great spell. So it gives you training, essentially not training, but it gives you a bonus to Arcana or Religion checks. It's both, really, and the bonus is equal to your Wisdom modifier. So I think this corrects the problem that we had with clerics not being good at religion in 5e 2014. Now they're good at religion. They're equally as good at religion as the wizard, and they can be even better at religion if they have a high intelligence and a high wisdom. And I chose the spell Guidance. It's just an extra cantrip. Clerics' cantrips weren't great, and they didn't get enough of them. So that was a thing. Okay, so at 2nd level, we get Channel Divinity, so we get Divine Spark or Turn Undead. So Divine Spark is as a magic action. You point your holy symbol at another creature you see within 30 feet and focus divine energy. I roll a d8 in my wisdom modifier. You either restore hit points to the creature or force a creature to make a con save. On a failed save, the creature takes necrotic or radiant damage equal to a total. On a success, the creature takes half. So this is just an extra thing for Channel Divinity. It really isn't. And we can use our Channel Divinity twice, although I think there's 3 boxes on our sheet. So you can use this class's Channel Divinity twice. You regain 1 of its expended uses when you finish a short rest, and you regain all of them on a long rest. So you gain additional uses when you reach certain cleric levels, as shown in the Channel Divinity column of your cleric features table. And I think it'll tell us when we get it. So this is just kind of an extra choice in being able to heal or maybe do a little damage other than turn undead. Okay, so we got that at 2nd level. At 3rd level, we get our subclass. I took Life Domain. Here is what it looks like. So there are the 4 core rule ones of Life, Light, Trickery, and War. And then they have all the expanded ones like Arcana, Forge, Grave, Order, Peace, Twilight. Twilight's still here. That's the one everybody likes. And then they have the legacy ones of Death, Knowledge, Nature, and Tempest. Those are now legacy. That means that they are only 2014. Okay, but that one's the big one. I'm glad that they didn't wipe that one off. But we took Life Domain. And so we are a Disciple of Life. When a spell you cast with a spell slot restores hit points to a creature that regains additional hit points on the turn you cast. The additional hit points is equal to 2 plus the spell slot's level. So if we hit them with a Cure Wounds of 1st level, then they get 3 extra hit points. So that's great. And then we get the Life Domain spells. So we automatically know all these spells. These are all prepared automatically. So Aid, Bless, Cure Wounds, Lesser Restoration, Mass Healing Word, Revivify is automatic now for these guys. Aura of Life and Death Ward are automatic. And then Greater Restoration and Mass Cure Wounds. I think that's pretty great. That's pretty cool for a player in general. We get Preserve Life. This is a really cool ability. So as a magic action, you present your holy symbol and expend a use of your Channel Divinity to evoke healing energy that can restore a number of hit points equal to 5 times your cleric level. So this is 35. Choose bloodied creatures. So they brought this particular mechanic back. I highlighted this part here. If you have half your hit points or fewer, you are bloodied, which has no game effect on its own, but which may trigger other game effects. So that's one of these. That's a cool. I like that mechanic. That mechanic was introduced in 4th edition, and they brought it back. So, this cleric who's 7th level can restore 35 hit points. So I can choose any bloodied creatures within 30 feet of me, and I can divide those hit points among them. If there's only one, then I can slap them with 35. This feat can restore a creature to no more than half its hit point maximum. So what I need to do is I need to look at creatures that are really, really hurt, and then I can get them to bloodied, essentially. Because this feature can restore a creature to no more than half its hit point maximum. So if its hit point maximum is 50, and they're at 49 hit points, I will waste this if I do that. But if they have 100 hit points, let's say they have 100 points and they're bloodied at 50, and they are currently at 35, then this 7th level can restore them back up. So I think this is a really cool feature. It's a Channel Divinity. Another great use for Channel Divinity that is separate from this Divine Spark or Turn Undead. It's like the special. The Life Domain. Life Domain Channel Divinity. And then I chose to raise my Wisdom score at 4th level. At 5th level, we get Seer Undead automatically. So this is a power I didn't like. So in the 5th edition, 2014, certain undead of certain challenge ratings you just vaporized and they were gone. This now just does damage. So whenever you use Turn Undead, you can roll a number of d8s equal to your Wisdom modifier and add the results together. Each undead that fails a saving throw against the use of Turn takes radiant damage equal to the total. So it's like a little mini fireball, basically. 6th level, we get Blessed Healer. Healing spells you cast on others heal you as well immediately after you cast a spell with a spell slot that restores hit points to one creature or more other than yourself. You regain hit points equal to 2 plus the spell slot. So that's kind of a carryover. And then at 7th level, we get Blessed Strikes, and I chose Potent Spell Casting, which allows us to add our modifier to cleric cantrips. Okay, so that's that. There are no more optional feature managers, and we'll go over the spells that I took when we look at the character sheet. So for the background, I took Hermit because that allows me to choose Wisdom and Constitution, and that's what I wanted. It also gives me the Healer feat, which is pretty awesome, and it goes perfectly with this class. Oh, and it gives me skills of Medicine and Religion. Those are great. And a proficiency in a Herbalism kit, which is also great. So with Battle Medic, if you have a Healer's kit, and I think this is kind of stolen a little bit from Pathfinder. So if you have a Healer's kit, you can spend 1 use of it and tend to a creature within 5 feet of you as a Utilize action, which is a new kind of action. That creature can expend 1 of its hit dice, and you roll that die. Okay, the creature can regain a number of hit points equal to the roll plus your proficiency bonus. Okay, that's great. Or healing rolls. Whenever you roll a die to determine the number of hit points you restore with a spell or with this feat's Battle Medic benefit, you can re-roll the die if it rolls a 1. So that's whenever you do that. So this one right here, healing re-rolls combined with the healing spells, is awesome. And we chose Constitution and Wisdom. Wisdom +2 and Constitution. So for species, we just chose a straight-up human. That was it. There is no Origin Manager anymore. So the size is medium. You can actually choose small here now. Speed is 30 feet. They're resourceful, so you gain heroic inspiration whenever you finish a long rest. They're skillful. I chose Perception, so you can choose from a whole list of skills to be proficient in. I chose Perception. It's Wisdom. And they're also versatile, so you get an extra Origin feat. I chose Lucky. I think that's a really great one. And there's a whole choice too. You got Alert, Crafter. I could have chose Alert, which is when you roll initiative, you can add your proficiency bonus to initiative. And immediately after you roll initiative, you can swap your initiative with the initiative of one willing ally in the same combat. This used to give a bonus to perception checks. So I like Lucky. That it seems good for me. It's general. It gives me luck points. You have a number of luck points equal to your proficiency bonus and can spend the points on the benefits below. So roll a d20 to give myself advantage, or when a creature rolls a d20, I can give them disadvantage. So that's pretty good. Okay. Ability scores, we took the point by 27 points with the 15 in the Wisdom. We put a 14 in Charisma and a 13 in Con. We didn't really need Intelligence, Dex, or Strength. I don't have a dump stat on this guy. I didn't really think that I needed one. I didn't want any negatives to any of their skills. And equipment. So this is a 7th level character. They should have some magic items. I just got a +1 mace just because they're wearing half plate. They have a +1 shield. And I did give them an Amulet of the Devout +1, which is an uncommon item. So let's take a look at the character sheet. Here it is right here. So they got 52 hit points because I have a 14 Con, 19 Wisdom. Next level, that will probably go up to a 20. And 14 Charisma, so for a +2 to Constitution stuff and to Charisma stuff. They have a +7 to Wisdom and a +5 on Charisma saving throws because they're trained in both of those. Passive Perception is 17. That's pretty good. Herbalism kit. And then we have Training in Insight, +7. Training in Medicine, +7. Training in Perception, +7. Training in Persuasion, which is a +5, because our proficiency bonus is a +3 now. And Training in Religion, which is a +7, because of the thaumaturge stuff that I took. So we've got that, and we have a +4 in Arcana. We're not proficient in it, but we have a +4 also because of the thaumaturge stuff. Then we've got all the stuff that I just went through, but it is now racked and stacked according to the level and the bonuses that are there. So if we look at features and traits, there's the +4 to Arcana and Religion with the guidance. We have 3 uses of Channel Divinity. Per day, we get 1 use back on a short rest. And the DC for those is a 15. That would be for Turn Undead. Disciple of Life, Life Domain spells. Preserve Life gives us 35 hit points to bloodied creatures. That's pretty good. We do 48 on Seer Undead, and then the rest of it +4 damage on our cantrips. Not really a whole lot. We already went over all that. And then the feats, we've got the Lucky, the Battle Medic, and the Healing. So for our spells, so for our actions, we've got a Mace that's got a +4 to hit because we don't have very much strength. We've got, and we don't really want to talk about the rest. So for spells, we've got Guidance, Light, Mending, Sacred Flame, Totally Undead. And these are saving throws of a 16, 2d4 +4. This could be a 2d8, so they didn't really change that. It goes up to a d12 if the target is missing any hit points, so that could be 2d12 +4. That's not bad. That on average, if they fail their saving throw, is going to be 13 hit points of damage. That's not too bad. They didn't really change Sacred Flame either. And Guidance, they didn't really change either. So all these kind of stayed the same. We automatically get Bless, Cure Wounds. I took Guiding Bolt, Healing Word, and Shield. Healing Word got a bump. It's now a 2d4. Cure Wounds got a bump. It's now a 2d8. And if we use higher slots, we get more dice. And we don't get 1 more dice. We get 2 more dice. So the Cure Wounds and the Healing Word are a lot better now. Bless didn't really change. We can bless up to 3 creatures. They get to add a d4 to an attack roll or save. And if we use a higher level, we can target 1 additional creature. Guiding Bolt didn't really change. On a hit, it does 46, and then the next attack is advantage, and then it does more damage as you go up. Second level, we have Aid. Aid didn't really change. Target's maximum and current hit points go up by 5, and they increase even more if I upcast a spell. We got Blindness, Deafness. That didn't really change. Still a con save, blindness or deaf. We took Hold Person, one of the most important spells. I'm glad this didn't change. Choose a humanoid. They have to make a wisdom save, or they're paralyzed for the duration, which is concentration up to a minute. At the end of each of its turn, it has to repeat the save. And then we can target 1 more creature. We have Lesser Restoration automatically, and that hasn't changed. And then Spiritual Weapon really hasn't changed either. It's still a d8 +5, and then as a bonus action, we can move it and attack. And then it goes up if you cast it at a higher level. Third level, we took Beacon of Hope. So choose any number of creatures within range. For the duration, each target has advantage on wisdom saving throws and death saving throws and regains a maximum of hit points possible from any healing. Super important for a healer. We've got Mass Healing Word. We automatically get that. Or no, we didn't get that. We took that. We automatically get Revivify. So this is up to 6 creatures get 2d4 plus your spellcasting modifier at a range of 60 feet. And if we cast this above 3rd level, it's a d4. So that's different than some of the other ones. The other ones are an addition of a 2d4. Revivify, still 1 action, still a 300 gold piece, diamond, and they're come back with 1 hit point if they've died in the last minute. Of course, we took Spirit Guardians. That's absolutely necessary. And this one hasn't really changed. It's 3d8 radiant or necrotic damage, and you can increase the damage for anything within 15 feet. Now, it's an emanation, though, and it still is concentration. For 4th level, we got Aura of Life. So this prevents anybody from actually going down. So if an ally with 0 hit points starts its turn in the aura, they regain 1 hit point. That's pretty good. And then while they're in it, they have resistance to necrotic damage, and their hit point maxes can't be reduced. So that's really good. That does require concentration. We took Banishment. Banishment has changed a little bit. It has changed slightly. So it's still a charisma save. It's transported to a harmless demi-plane. So a harmless demi-plane for the duration. While the creature is there, it's incapacitated. When the spell ends, the target reappears. So that kind of has, they changed some wording. If the target is an aberration, a celestial, an elemental, a fae, or a fiend, the target doesn't return if the spell lasts for 1 minute. So if I concentrate on this for 1 minute, they don't come back. The target is instead transported to a random location on a plane of the DM's choice associated with the creature's type. So if it's a demon, it's probably going to go back to the abyss. If it's a fae, it'll go to the Feywild. But that kind of didn't change. The wording that changed was before, if it was an extraplanar creature, then you send it back to its home plane and it didn't get to come back if you kept concentrating on it. But this one, it's very specific. Aberrations, which normally is just celestials, elementals, fays, or fiends, but now they added aberrations in there. And, there's a bunch of different planes that aberrations can come from. So that spell still is very good. It still can do what it was doing before. We get Death Ward automatically, so first time the target would drop to 0, they drop to 1. And so that's still the thing. We took Freedom of Movement, which essentially does all the same stuff. We can target more creatures if we upcast it. And that is basically it for that. In our inventory, again, we've got all that stuff. So not too much with this, but this character can heal like nobody's business. That's the big thing. Nobody's business. It heals great. And I can see why they are trying to move people in a certain direction. Some of these 4th level spells are pretty good. Aura Life, these normally were like paladin spells, so now they're cleric spells. And the features part, that's where we kind of get some of the, hey, you need a not level dip. So like the Blessed Strikes and the Blessed Healer, that kind of thing, those are all kind of important stuff. And you don't get those until you get to higher levels. So that's really important. All right. That is the Healing Cleric for 2024. I hope everybody enjoyed, and I will catch everybody later.